Hi, welcome to my website. My name is Mike King. Who the hell am I? Good question. I'm an accountant. Please don't turn the website off just yet. I was an accountant. At the age of 32, my life took somewhat of a different turn. I suffered a cardiac arrest, it's a long story, but having had an episode of what's called ventricular tachycardia. I had a cardiac arrest and spent some time in hospital. About 18 months later, I hadn't really dealt with that particularly well, but about 18 months later, by this time I'd had a cardiac defibrillator implanted in my abdomen. 18 months later, I was playing cricket and my heart went into another one of these arrhythmias. The cardiac defibrillator was designed to administer an electric shock, which it did. I mean, I collapsed on the floor and it gave me an electric shock. Unfortunately, this was in the days when the implantable cardiac defibrillator was steam driven, so it didn't terminate the arrhythmia. In those situations, what the defibrillator will do is administer another shock, which is what it did. It administered another shock. Unfortunately, this shock had zero effect as well. So the defibrillator administers another shock, and we have the same result. So there was another shock, and another shock, and so on. After about 20-25 shocks, I was lying on the ground and my heart was pretty knackered by then. The ambulance hadn't arrived. I realised in that moment that I was going to die. Sounds dramatic, but I did realise I was going to die. That causes a significant change in how you view the world, if you should be lucky enough to wake up after it. Well, what happened to me is I ended up having about 40 to 50 electric shocks. My heart stopped in the end, remained stopped for 3 or 4 minutes. Fortunately, an ambulance crew got there in time and they restarted my heart a number of times, as it happens, because it kept stopping. And they took me to hospital, and here I am today, so many years later, able to tell the tale. But anyway, my point is only that changed my philosophy and my take on life. Previously I had been an accountant. I was the finance director of some crappy company that was a subsidiary of a PLC. I had done the usual crappy accounting things, sacked a few people, restructured, da-di-da-di-da. I still do accounting because I don't make enough money from writing, but I've now decided that I would like to write. So I've written a couple of books. I'm actually currently on my 4th book. Those maths amongst you will know that a couple plus one you're on doesn't make 4. But I've written 3 books. One is just an e-book, 2 published books, and a fiction book that I'm on at the moment. You'll find those books on this site. They vary from, the first one was autobiographical, tells you about my experience, what I learned from it, living with sudden death, which is what I live with. Potentially I could have an arrhythmia and my heart could go into VF at any time. It's less likely now because of the masses of medication they put you on, but potentially it could happen. You have to learn, to live day by day, and you have to learn that life in itself is a matter of faith for all of us, not just for those of us who suffer from VT. And it takes a little bit of getting used to, and that book tells you about that. I've also written a book about religion, with reference really to Richard Dawkins. I'm just currently finishing a fictional book, which will be out soon, and I've also written an e-book on coaching your son football, which has come from my experience with my son, and from the psychology that I've learned through that and through my own particular condition. But I hope you'll enjoy looking around the site, and and if you're interested in any of the books, you can buy them on the site, and I hope you do. And email me if you want to know anything about dying. I'm an expert, and there you are.